Tired of playing Raiden National and wasting precious time and stamina chasing down enemies knocked away from overloaded? Want a high DPS Raiden team that doesn't use Bennett and Xiangling? Want a team with absolutely broken single target damage and innate AoE damage? Want a team with some of the best mobility in the entire game? I've 36 star cleared the Spiral Abyss many times, and this team honestly feels like it rivals the power levels of my Raiden National and Ayaka Freeze teams. Okay, let's break down how to efficiently rotate through this team's abilities. Put Raiden first, Xingqiu second, Yelan third, and finally either Sayu or another anima unit of your choice, like Jean or Sucrose, last. Start with Raiden's elemental skill so you can apply electro damage off field. Next switch to Xingqiu, and then use your elemental skill into your elemental burst. If you have Constellation 2 Xingqiu, at this point enemies hit by your rain swords will receive negative 15 Hydra resistance for 4 seconds. If you're running Sacrificial Sword and its passive effect triggers, then use it again. Then switch to Yelan and use your elemental skill into your elemental burst. Before switching off Yelan, auto attack to trigger Raiden's off-field electro damage and create an electro charged reaction. The enemy you hit should now have both electro and hydro applied to them simultaneously. Quickly switch to your anima unit and hit them with an anima attack, thereby double swirling electro and hydro. Your anima unit should be running the Viridescent Venerer artifact set, meaning that the opponent's hydro resistance and electro resistance were both just reduced by 40%. At this point, these are the debuffs your enemy has, and these are the off-field coordinated attacks that you have. Switch back to Raiden, recast your elemental skill if it's off cooldown, and then use your elemental burst. When you're using Raiden's burst, this is the auto attack combo I personally like using in shorthand. The dashes aren't necessary if you only want to optimize DPS, but they make the combo easier to execute and give you more control over your positioning. So to break the combo down, all that really means is that you do 3 normal attacks into a charged attack into a dash cancel 3 times. Then you do 1 normal attack into a charged attack once. I think the hardest part of doing this auto attack combo is just making sure that you time your dash cancel when Raiden disappears during her charged attack. As long as you remember to do that, pulling it off is reasonably comfortable, especially once you get used to it. To be clear, I'm not suggesting this Raiden Double Hydro team is strictly better than Raiden National. After all, Raiden National is one of the strongest teams in the game. What I am saying though is that Raiden Double Hydro can be a useful alternative to Raiden National, and that I think it's an option worth considering if you can run it. If you're fighting a bunch of cryo enemies or a single target boss, then Raiden National would probably be better. If you're fighting a bunch of pyro enemies or a huge mob of enemies, then Raiden Double Hydro would probably be better. In most situations, both teams will work extremely well and will output as much DPS as you'd ever need. Also, similar to Raiden National, with Raiden Double Hydro you don't need any 5-star weapons to make sure the team is effective. The anima unit on Raiden Double Hydro is also super flexible, which means that you can swap which anima unit you use to suit the needs of the situation. For example, if you wanted more DPS, you could swap out Sayu with Kazuha or Sucrose. In the Spiral Abyss, one of the biggest benefits of running Raiden Double Hydro is that it lets you run Bennett and Xiangling on your second team. Lately, miHoYo has been trying really hard to counter cryo teams. They'll create chambers that have cryo elemental nodes reducing cryo damage by 50% on one side of the abyss, and then put a chamber on the other side of the abyss with enemies that are resistant or even immune to cryo damage. In situations like these, using Raiden Double Hydro will still be effective because it doesn't use cryo. And by running Raiden Double Hydro instead of Raiden National, this will allow your other team to run Bennett and Xiangling, who will likely be able to make quick work of any abyss chamber that's designed to counter your cryo or freeze teams. Alright, let's prove that this team works against the hardest content in the game. If you have a well-built Keqing, you can also consider swapping out Raiden with Keqing. The Raiden variation does generally have higher DPS, but using Keqing can absolutely still get the job done. Using Keqing also actually provides two nice advantages. First, unlike Raiden, you don't have to worry about managing Keqing's energy between Abyss Chambers because most of Keqing's DPS comes from her charged attacks. Second, using Keqing provides the team with even more mobility because Keqing can warp with her elemental skill. With Yelan's dash, Sayu's roll, and Keqing's warp, you'll definitely have no trouble chasing down or evading any enemies. If you run a full 4-piece Thundering Fury set on Keqing, you can push the mobility of the team even further by reducing the cooldown on Keqing's elemental skill. In the Keqing variation of this team, you'll want to use a different skill rotation though. Unlike Raiden, Keqing doesn't have accessible off-field electro application, so you should switch Keqing directly into your Animo character so that you can immediately swirl any enemies once you trigger an electrocharge reaction. Hey, I hope this video was helpful in some way. Consider hitting the like button or subscribing if you enjoyed the video. It helps me out and I definitely appreciate it. Anyway, take care and I hope you have a good one.